Hello, hello. I'm just going to turn my phone off. Hello, Mila. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Whimsy's house. See that tail? I think our little striped friend is thinking of what mischief she can perform. Now that we are live. Hello to everybody. Millicent D is in the house. Thank you for moderating. Hello, Michelle, Mystic Bella, Sharon. Hello, Sipe. Oh, Maria Queen and Jennifer Wilson. Shalom, shalom. Hello. Freeze Z All is in the house. Laura Sue, Craig and Clamped. Nice to see ya. Wandering Eyes. Laura Vescovi. Miss G. Joel Vo. Dorian Garby. Good afternoon to you. Paula Ann. House of Lenormand is here. Are you still in England, Becca? She back? And Barbara Young, hello, Joanna. Jody Roberts, Pierre Walker, Mystic Bella, I think we've already said hi too. All right, everyone. You're in France now. Lucky you. Yeah, I love that part of the world. I go every time I can't afford it, and sometimes when I can't. Let me grab my coffee. So, a lot going on, huh? A lot is going on. They say that Bernie Sanders has a 1 in 3 chance of taking the nomination. And that the Trump team is pushing their independents that can vote in Democratic primaries to vote for Bernie because they think that Trump would be able to beat him in a debate. So they're hoping we'll pick Bernie because they think Bernie wouldn't stand a chance against Donald Trump. We'll just see how this all plays out. I still haven't decided who to vote for. I don't know. So we have a lot of questions today we're going to be going through. But I decided to do something a little different to start. And that is to do an intuition experiment. And this goes back to the studies I've done of Carl Jung and the collective conscience, and how we're all related, we're all connected, and we're all going through similar kinds of stuff. So I wanted to do a group reading. Just the soul group that's watching, whenever you watch this, whether you're watching it live or whenever you turn the stream on, to see if we can't do a group soul reading for the coming week. Would everybody like that? And so let's just check in on ourselves and give ourselves a reading. And then after that, we can deal with everything else. So how I planned to do this group reading was that I would let Spirit decide what I'm supposed to say. And so there will be, theoretically, if I do this right, private messages for everybody that watches the video. Does that sound like fun? I just think I want to get back to taking care of us. You know, I was going through a dark night of the soul the last couple of days. Like, what is the point of all of this? What is the point of all of this, my fellow sensitive people? Like, what is the meaning of life and everything else? And I realized the meaning of life is to have fun, be happy. Buddhism would say to be happy, to spread your happiness to others. and to be kind, to help alleviate suffering. So I thought, well, how can I do that with the group? So I think a group reading is in order. So we're going to try this. I'm going to just do my thing, and let's see what Spirit has to say to the group. Sound good? All right, get a drink of water. And if you're watching this after I tape, that's absolutely fine. You're included in the prayer. So this message is for you at the time you watch the video. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records for the community. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower everyone who watches this channel so that all of us can make the best decisions for ourselves, for the people we love, for the planet, for our families, and to even help those we have strife with. And together, let us say, Amen. Amen. Let's go in. Let's get our reading. Spirit, what is our reading for the week? What do we all need to hear? I'm excited. I haven't done this in a while. Someone asked if I could cut and edit how long it takes me to shuffle in a live stream. And I thought, I don't think I can cut and edit during a live stream. I do like to give it a good shuffle. My hands are sticking. I'm getting nervous. Where you are at right now. There is a feeling going into the energy that it's a feeling of being contracted. It's a feeling of being overwhelmed. Sometimes when we feel like there's just too much stimulation, there's too much coming at us at once, we can feel that we are withdrawing from the world. It can be a feeling almost, it's not necessarily depression, though it can be depression. Two of Swords is when you feel like you can't look away from the train wreck, but you feel like you have to look away from the train wreck. Two of Swords is hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. It's pulling back from the world to some extent in order to conserve one's energy. So many of us feel that we're going through a period now where we just have to pull inward and take care of ourselves a little bit. And so I think the spiritual lesson here is to pull back from the outside world a little bit and to become more involved with one's own self-care. This is a time of self-care. This is a time of self-care, and it's a time of living your best life based on what your values are. So Two of Swords is an encouragement to withdraw from the outside world a little bit and to go inward. You can see the second base we pulled is the Page of Cups, which I read as the messenger of healing who brings the elixir. It's water energy, and water is life, right? But water is also healing. So this is the cure. So at this time, they're actually saying there's too much outward energy. When we have too much outward energy, what happens is we actually become weakened rather than stronger. We give our energy away rather than conserving our energy. If you're looking at traditional societies, gatherers and hunters living in hammocks and in the Amazon rainforest, the first thing they sought was to conserve their own energy. To not overextend their energy because that was associated with stress and depression. So if you are challenged with stress and depression right now, there is this advice from Spirit that now is the time to be very careful about how your mind is being stimulated. What are you watching? Are you watching horror movies on Netflix? Are you watching news that's causing you to become hysterical? Now would be the time to unplug a little bit and instead focus on your own health and your own well-being, and focus on the things that sustain you and help you. Let's go into the week. The first card is the Four of Wands. So we're actually entering a period in our life between now and spring of 2020 that is quite joyful. So even though right now we may be feeling overstimulated, we may be feeling like there's too much going on in the outside world and we just need to work on our own selves, our own families, etc. There's this beautiful energy coming in. You can see in early spring, right? The groundhog said there's going to be an early spring. It does feel like April is monumental, like there's this beautiful, wonderful energy opening up in spring of 2020. And what crosses us is the ability to walk away. There's a lot going on with us where we have to look at what we are holding on to and what we need to let go of. If the things we are holding on to are creating anxiety and stress, it may be time to let them go. This is a reading about conserving our energy and letting go of the things that don't serve us. It's too exhausting. There's a lot about, I don't have energy for this anymore. I don't want to deal with this. I'm focusing on my own care. I'm walking away from things that don't serve me. I'm moving into an energy that's positive and not constricted. In the end, how we take care of ourselves, how we nurture ourselves, how we live our day-to-day life has a global impact in the sense that we're all connected. We're all part of the same tribe. We're all part of the same collective. And so by taking care of ourselves and becoming happy and taking care of our needs so that we have something left over to give others, we actually do something very profound for the collective and for the planet. We can see here that our judgment returns and there's a global impact. Self-care, being true to your priorities, living simply, not getting pulled away by the media, not getting pulled away by the outside voices, actually puts us in a place of clear judgment because we remember who we are and what our values are. And there's a global aspect to it. There's a global impact. So after this period of retracting from the world and taking care of ourselves and healing ourselves, we're entering into a time of judgment where we will be of better service to others. This is a time where we're going to get our ethics in order, our values in order, our belief systems in order. But it comes from a very deep place of self-care. Whether it means spending more time at home, more time living a minimalist lifestyle, slowing down the pace of your life, being mindful, being present in the moment, chop wood, carry water. For me, it's going back to making homemade bread like my mother used to make, making simple vegetarian stews. I used to live on ashram, a yoga retreat. And it was a very peaceful place. And I'm trying to get back to that. Just the peace, eating a nonviolent diet, living a nonviolent life. Those are the kinds of cards we're seeing. Being of service when we can. Where the group is at right now, we are looking at our necessary losses. So there's a feeling collectively that we are all going through a period of grief. Whether it's grief because of the political situation, or it's grief because we feel that we are at a point in our life where we have lost more than we have gained. But Five of Cups is the ability to grieve. The danger with grief, the danger with the Five of Cups, is that we can waste the present moment grieving about what could have been and should have been. And so the present moment is gone. We've lost it because we have wasted it on grief. Rather than looking at what remains and building from what we already have. So the Five of Cups teaches us to not waste time dwelling on the past. We learn the lessons from the past, but we don't waste the present grieving about what the past was. We make good with what we have now. And what is around us? Stress. We're picking up on a collective stress. Night terrors, panic attacks, fear of death, fear of migraines, tension headaches. But this is from a homeopathic perspective. I think of this as like the homeopathic actinium napellus, aconite. It's night terrors, panic attacks. It can also be somebody who has temporomandibular joint syndrome, sleep apnea, head injuries, headaches, migraines, pains in the shoulders and neck, pain at night, pain that keeps you up at night. So if that's what's around us, and if we are empathic to that feeling that is around us from others, if there's a collective fear, if there's a collective terror, what will become of the planet? If people are stressing out rather than taking care of their own self needs, right? It's going to have an impact on us. We can't live our lives. We're too busy. We're too wrapped in the fear. Our hope and our fear is our legacy. I think of Eight of Pentacles as a legacy card in the sense that it is pretty much you and I, all of us, making the decision that we will master one thing. That we don't have to master a million things. We don't have to be the joker of many. We just have to be the master of one. That sometimes we feel overwhelmed in life by all the things we feel we need to accomplish. But the truth of the matter is, other than making our self-care and our own ethics a priority, we really only have to choose one profession. We only have to choose one thing to master. We are only obligated to do our best at the thing we've chosen. So we don't have to master a million things. This is a time in our lives where we could be asking ourselves, what is my legacy? What have I done with my life? What do I want to do with my life? Do I want to sit around and grieve about what could have been, should have been, or what I've already lost, that I'm never going to be an American Idol? Oh, I'm never going to be an American Idol. Or am I going to look at the present moment and chop wood, carry water? He sits at his desk. He doesn't worry about what's going around in the outside world, and he simply is present in the moment, creating mastery. But there is this feeling also here that we need to kind of tune out the outside world a little bit in order to, we are not productive when we are pulled out of our center into all of this crazy. And in the end, it makes us less productive and it makes us less capable of taking care of anybody else, including ourselves. So the first reaction is that we'll sometimes just withdraw entirely from the world, and we may become so depressed that we can barely heat a bowl of soup for ourselves, let alone take care of everybody else. And so the lesson here today is too much outward stimulation is preventing you from taking care of yourself, let alone anybody else. There has to be a downtime. There has to be time for self-care, meditation, and nurturing of oneself, and even eliminating aspects of the outside world that are causing depression and anxiety. This can sometimes happen as we get older. We go outside less. We become frightened of the outside world. We spend our days watching the news, terrified of the outside world. And so it creates increasing isolation as we get older. And that's actually what the cards are cautioning against. Instead, this is about making one's world smaller and more manageable and focusing on what one can control. which is one's own mastery in one's own career or one's own interest. And then the final outcome for us, we will reap what we have sown. That our day-to-day actions will accumulate in an end result. So if our day-to-day actions are sitting around having panic attacks and eating too much chocolate and watching marathon, if you're like me, marathon MSNBC and having a panic attack every 5 minutes, then probably you're not going to get much. You'll wake up a year or two later and none of your dreams will be accomplished. So the point of the Wheel of Fortune as an outcome is that it teaches us that our day-to-day efforts, our day-to-day chipping away, our day-to-day work has long-term, it accumulates into something much greater. It accumulates into our karma. And so we ultimately have to decide how we want to spend our day, because the culmination of our days will lead to, it's what we do on a daily basis that leads to the outcome, whether it's the outcome of how our health is, how we ate in the day. Did we exercise? Did we floss? Did we take the dog for a walk? How our day-to-day actions are ultimately having an impact on our lives. And the clarification, entering into a time of more meditation. I think of this as the enlightened one or the ethos. It's the higher self, the it's the part of us that is aware of, it's our frontal lobes, basically. It's our higher self. And what is around us? There's this challenge for a new beginning, that all of that your life begins today, and that your karma and my karma is the result of our daily choices, and that we can sit around and grieve about what could have been or should have been, or we can decide today to simply pursue what it is we want to master in our lives, and be mindful of how our daily actions are resulting in an inevitable outcome. Be mindful of how you speak to yourself, and be mindful of healthy, appropriate boundaries. Queen of Wands teaches us boundaries. The fact that it's a hope and a fear, one's mastery, one's dreams, and the fact that Queen of Wands comes in as an archetype is the message that your work matters when you believe your work matters. You cannot look to somebody else to tell you that your life has value, that your life has meaning, that your work has meaning. It will grow in its meaning the more effort you put out. But Queen of Wands is about avoiding interruption too, because Queen of Wands carries the staff that says, back then, I guess they didn't have a gavel, they had a staff. She's the one that establishes boundaries, borders, appropriate behavior. If you find yourself being interrupted a lot, remove the interruption. Queen of Wands is about discipline. And it's about determination. So the spiritual lesson for everybody here, I think from these cards, is that it feels like there's a lot of wasting of energy. And the energy is getting wasted on things like emotional imaginations, what could be, what might be, what I read here, what I saw here. And it's not a good use of our energy. It's not a good use of our energy, and it's not a good, and it's a wasted life, basically. And that ultimately we will become the culmination of our daily actions. And if you want to achieve mastery in this lifetime of anything, you must learn boundaries, discipline, and to not be interrupted, and to some extent withdraw from the outside world a little bit. You know, it's one thing to be aware of what's going on politically. It's another thing to waste one's entire life glued to the TV. And I think that that's basically how I would interpret our readings today. Everybody here who's watching this has the ability to be a master, to achieve mastery in this lifetime, to leave a legacy that they were the greatest at what it was they pursued, whether it was playing the violin or writing a great novel or being the best nurse if you're service oriented. But the point is that whatever you do, the challenge now is that you and I devote our lives to excellence. Do we make excuses for ourselves? Well, I don't really feel like doing it because there's a new show on Netflix I want to watch. That's okay if that's what you want to do, but this is a card reading that talks about the karmic accumulation of our daily actions. So I think it's something really to think about and to be mindful of. It's something that I will definitely think about because I think that I can get into this trap also of just spending so much time depressed about things that happened 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And meanwhile, that's energy that could be spent on me building a great life in the here and now. So that was the group reading. I hope it spoke to everyone here. Did everybody get something from that? Puppies will keep you moving. Absolutely. All right. So I want to also give a shout out to whoever sent me this beautiful scarf. I received it with no note, and I couldn't figure out who sent it. Was it an Alice? Whoever you are, I love it. It's beautiful. It's one of the nicest scarves that I own, and I thank you for that. So thank you for the beautiful scarf. You're very welcome, everyone. I will happily do group readings every time we get together if that's what people need. All right, so people had asked me to look at the political situation, even though we're all getting really tired of it, to be honest with you. I just think that everyone is burnt out with politics, and but let's look at Barr. I am curious about Barr. He's a Gemini, right? I just want to access his records. So the remote viewing I did on Klobuchar, that I got a lot of feedback about that. That I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm saying that if Klobuchar in an alternate reality were to become president, it would happen like that. It would happen because Biden would have to drop out and then endorse her, and so would Elizabeth Warren. If that happened, that could put her above Buttigieg. But the truth of the matter is they're splitting the moderate vote, which is why Bernie is doing really well, because he has a very strong base. Where is this card? Oh, there it is. I think there's a lot of, I think that the polls are saying 1 in 3 chance with Bernie now. Yay, Sharon, I'm glad. All right, let's see what's going on with William Barr. What's going on with William Barr? See, when I did a remote view on William Barr last night, he didn't want to give up power. I mean, just because a bunch of people are telling him to resign doesn't mean he's going to resign, because this is everything he's ever wanted. The conservatives have complete control to completely remake the American government the way that they want to make it. So there's no incentive for him to resign just because people want him to resign. So that was the first thing I had. The Hierophant is the Constitution in relationship to the Justice Department, and we can see the Ace of Swords moving in, which is victory for the Constitution. It could very likely be that the Bar Association, talk about a tongue twister, the Bar Association disbars Barr. There could be threats of him being disbarred. Okay, well, there's a, who's the troll? Angela Johnson, do you want to be the moderator, Angela? Okay. I'm a oh, George is a Republican? Well, that's okay. You can be a Republican. I don't care. As long as you're respectful. George, what are you saying that's annoying everybody? Do I need to get rid of you? All right, he's been hidden. He's been removed. Sorry, George. They're saying that you got to go. Yeah, I don't care if anybody's a Republican. But we are nice to each other. All right. Let's look at William Barr. A new beginning in the Justice Department. And there's a star card. Gee, this is very strange. There seems to be some outside body that's calling for some kind of audit of the Justice Department, and it's outside the hands of William Barr. I don't know what I'm seeing, and I don't understand the rules, but there appears to be some way that the Justice Department can be audited, and it has to do with the legal rights of lawyers, etc., the Justice Department, etc. But it appears that there's going to be an audit. What can best be described as some kind of an audit where there's going to be some outside group or some legal group that is going to be examining the activity at the Justice Department. There's something about him having to cooperate and hand over information. Yeah, he's under investigation, and they want a full audit of the Justice Department. So stuff is being taken out of William Barr's hands. They're concerned about buried cases, missing files, delays of sentencing, etc. So he's going to have to cooperate. Also, Adam Schiff has reported him. There's something about Adam Schiff reporting him, and there's also been death threats, we know, against Adam Schiff, questionable mail, etc. All of that has also been filed. The best way for me to describe these cards with William Barr is that he is under investigation. He's going to have to, the power is going to be taken out of his hands, and some group, or I don't exactly know what I'm looking at, is going to go in and begin auditing and overseeing his actions. He's in trouble. You can see a stripe card as the outcome, Two of Pentacles. And also he's going to start handing documents over because the Empress is coming in. And the Queen of Cups would suggest cooperation. The fact that the Hierophant or the Ethos is there with an Ace of Swords leads me to suspect that if Barr is trying to do something that's legally questionable, it's probably not going to succeed. The Injustice Department. Barr is going to go through something, perhaps. All right. Let's look at Bernie. How is Bernie doing? I always saw Trump being given the opportunity of resigning. XNL was asking this question. That he would be given the opportunity to resign, that there would be some kind of a deal he would make with the Senate. I think that he wants to pardon people. I think that he's hoping to get a pardon from Pence. I think that I think the backdoor deal is that Trump will be given the honor of resigning if things continue to fall apart. I think they will jump ship. I think that they're going to have to make their decision fairly soon, certainly long before June, when the Republican convention is. So either they can continue to try and cover this up and bury it, or they're going to jump ship. But I still see Trump being given the honor of resigning. If he refuses to resign, then that's going to be a bit of a disaster. And I think that he's going to attempt to pardon a bunch of people and then get Pence to pardon him. In terms of state charges in New York, I think that he plans on living in Florida and fighting extradition. So he will never go to prison. If he moves to Florida and charges are being brought against him in New York, and he can avoid going to New York to be sentenced or charged, if he can delay, then theoretically nothing would come of it. And eventually the statute of limitations would wear out. He's got his own planes. He's based in Florida. And yes. I'm getting rid of a bunch of people here. Okay. I got rid of Alexei. I've made somebody a moderator. Whatever Alexei was doing sounded like a troll. I don't know. Okay, we've got plenty of moderators now. So, sorry about that. I did. I made everybody who wanted to be a moderator. At least I think I did. All right. What are we doing? Trump? I'm so bored of him. Let's do Bernie. How is Bernie doing? How you doing, Bernie? Bernie Sanders, what is your future? Based on the energy, looks like you're the most likely candidate. You gonna pull it off, Bernie? He's pretty cool. Coming into his power and the Nine of Pentacles. So I would say he has a very strong base. The Magician card for Bernie Sanders and the money cards there. So he's being very frugal and smart with his money. They're accumulating a lot of money, but you can see he's holding on to it. He's being very, very judicious with the money so that it can go further, particularly in states where this guy has really got a strong ground game. More funding. I would not be surprised if Tom Steyer endorsed him. Just because he does have liberals with money that want to endorse him. You can see the Ace of Pentacles here, the Nine of Pentacles here. Look at that. A job offer. Smoother waters. He could be offered a position in the next administration if he agrees to leave, and he's not interested. People are actually trying to woo him out of the field. He's really not, this is somebody who is very focused. He really is going after corruption in a big way. They're going to try and take it from him and then offer him something that he doesn't want to take. Right now, I would say that he has an extremely well-organized ground campaign. They know exactly which areas he's weak, and they're being very careful with how they target their money. I think the thing is that he's with so many young people that know their social media. It's created an incredibly powerful, he has a very powerful ground game here. However, I don't know if he's going to necessarily make it. There's something about rejecting an offer here and theft. So that's the problem. If people go with Michael Bloomberg, people are going to feel that corporate America stole the election from Bernie Sanders. But another way of looking at it is that if only 30% of registered Democrats like Bernie Sanders, that it isn't that we stole the election or that the Democrats stole the election, it's that the Democrats chose somebody else. All right. And so Lady Di wants us to look at Donald Trump, even though we're bored with him. All right. How's Donald Trump doing in the coming weeks? Is he going to resign? What's going to happen with Donald Trump? What's with Donald Trump's future? Let's take a look. What is going to be with Donnie Boy? Offers again. He always gets these beautiful offers. Ace of Cups, Two of Cups. You know, it's interesting when you do a remote viewing on Donald Trump, he's really gone crazy. I mean, he looks like he's really crazy since he was impeached. The thief is trying to escape. His first card is the thief's card. So there's a feeling that he can't win through legitimate means. He has to cheat, a feeling like he cheats. Fleeing the world. He has some international trip coming. The justice situation is after him, attempting to control the Justice Department, the Queen of Wands in his third house. Yeah, he's got some international trip planned. You can see this, and over the waters here. Does anybody know where he's headed? Is he headed back to Europe? Ten of Cups gets his wish. He's getting his wish. Hopes and fears, the Fool card, and then the final outcome, another man. What sign is Bernie? Oh, thank you, Astrid. You're very welcome. Is Bernie a Sagittarius? What sign is Bernie? There's an Earth sign male here as an outcome. I wonder if that's the next president. Does anybody know what Bernie's sign is? Bernie is Virgo. It's a Virgo. Can be an Earth sign male. What about Bloomberg? Anybody know? Anyway, there's something about let me just take a look at this. I still see the same thing. I know the generals have come out against Trump again. February 14th, nice. I think that they're going to find some missing money. I think that there's something about missing money here, and I think he's going to be given the honor of resigning. I mean, you know it's bad when the feds are coming in and auditing the Justice Department. Thank you, Suzanne. That's very sweet of you for the donation. All right. Let's look at the coronavirus. People ask me to look at the coronavirus. Thank you, Marie. Oh, very sweet. Very sweet of you, Marie. Olga. All right, let's look at the coronavirus. I ordered more tea, more elderberry, because I am making the antiviral teas. If I haven't gotten back to you, it's because I ran out of stuff. So just eat. If you need more tea, just send a message to whimsyanderson@gmail.com. You'll get a packet of 4 ounces, and you'll boil 1 ounce per quart of water on low boil for 20 minutes. And then let it cool for 20 minutes. And then that's your mother tea. Keep it in the refrigerator or wherever. And then add boiling water or cold, whatever, to a quarter cup. 3/4 water to a quarter cup of the mother. So I figure if I send out 4 ounces, then I calculated that would be four quarts of the mother, and that would be 16 quarts of tea. Would make 16 quarts of tea. If you're taking 1 to 2 cups a day, it should last a while. Okay, what is with the coronavirus? With the coronavirus. I'm a little nervous about the coronavirus. It sounds vicious. More bad news. That's kind of, there's a grief card here. The Lover's card. There's a feeling like the infrastructure is not there to deal with it. That's the best way for me to describe this. There's a feeling like something happened to the infrastructure in China that it was just not prepared. It was not adequately prepared for a situation like this. They are working very, very rapidly to try and figure out the genome. They could fast track a vaccine in the next few months. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs, unfortunately. Yeah, I would just tell people, hold off on the cruise. You know, I was thinking about doing a cruise this spring. Trying to get my friends to come with me. Let's go for a cruise. We'll do like the eco-friendly. They have a few eco-friendly ones, but yeah, I think they're going to fast track a vaccine. I think that there was delays because the infrastructure was not as good as. I don't think China was prepared for this, but I think we'll be seeing some kind of preliminary vaccine within 3 or 4 months. That's what it's looking like. The cruise industry, I would think it would be hurting quite a bit. Even though the statistical odds that you're going to go on a cruise and get the coronavirus are pretty low, people watch the news and then they get scared. Thank you, Greeter. Nice video. All right, we're going to go ahead and close. Is there a last question for the Blitz today before we close? Thank you, everyone, for letting me start late. I woke up at 7:30 in the morning with Mila purring on my face. She has the softest fur. I fed her. I went back to bed. She went, and usually she likes to go outside, but instead she crawled right back into bed. And I just looked at her and said, let's just go back to sleep for another half hour. So that's why we're starting late. Yeah, there's an emergency meeting of Federal Judges Association. Hope Hicks. Yeah, let's look at Hope Hicks. I'm kind of curious about her. What is going on with Hope Hicks? She did not want to stay with that president, so I don't know what in the world she's doing back there. What's going on with Hope Hicks? Thank you, Jennifer. Two of Swords, so totally blocked, does not want to cooperate at all. Thank you, Pace. You're very kind. Two of Swords is somebody who knows how to keep her mouth shut. Two of Swords, there's a Sun card here, but some information is coming out. where she's at right now, something has happened where she feels like she is chained to the devil. There's some aspect of her relationship with Trump where, for whatever reason, she feels she cannot get out of it. She sees herself as only having to be in this relationship for a short amount of time, like 6 months. This is almost like something she agrees to do, but she doesn't totally want to do it. She's in strife, she's in conflict, she's linked to the devil. There's a 6 of Wands victory, usually within 6 months, examining her situation. She was brought in to calm the president down because he's been emotionally so erratic, and she seems to be one of the only people that can calm him down. Hopes and fears. I need to find the outcome. I just get this impression that this administration is going to be shut down, and that it's almost like she's being brought in to close things up. I feel that it had to do with his emotional state, but I don't see her as wanting to do this job. I think she would love to be able to get out of this. But it's in the grave, and then something about this other man shows up, the King of Wands. Either another president or somebody else is going to take the White House, or something that is hidden is going to be exposed that changes the dynamic. All right. Article 25 is definitely something that people have talked about because it would explain the deal that McConnell made, which is that if you can't pull this off, if this gets worse, you will agree to resign, and then we won't have to issue Article 25 and embarrass you and drag you out. We will give you the honor of resigning. So if that's the backdoor deal, that if his polls crash and if he goes up in smoke, that they are secretly threatening him and saying, we got you off, now leave. That would definitely explain why we had the vision of him being given the honor of resigning. All right, thanks everybody for the support of the channel. This was fun. I think I'm definitely going to try and do more group readings for people. I think that they're fun. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me in the week, I would love to do a tarot reading for you. You can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com and schedule online, or you can send me a text. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the support. Bye. See you next time. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you, everyone.